Hey, welcome back to BackBit Impossible. It's Luke Darks now again, and in this episode, I'm doing the preliminary work to, pave the way to have larger audio buffers. There's a few things I gotta, figure out, but I think I figure them out rather quickly. I also come up with one or two fixes that are going to be golden, and then, I come up with something that, once again blows my mind. Thinking out of the box, kinda. Well, I guess you'll see. It's pretty clever. In fact, it uses up all my mental stamina for a whole episode. You'll see why soon. Anyway, yeah, this is inspired. Let's check it out. Yeah, this ain't gonna do anything useful there. See, I'm having fun. Anyway, I made it so it does not, like we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, 1 and 5, it skips playing them, it skips loading them, except at the very beginning. But yeah.
May? Yeah? You're pretty busy looking this way.
I'm thinking what, this is basically only filling 6 buffers now. But it's doing it in such a way that it's not the same as if there were 6 full-blown buffers, but I'm wondering if I did want to increase the audio buffer, I would have to go down to just 6 buffers instead of 8, which is funny because I started with 10, right? But if I go down to 6, that means each BBT fetch can now be bigger, which also means I can have 256 characters in each character set, which means several more days of computing and optimizing. And oh yes, that's if I do it. It's just funny because like when it's playing, the colors are going to be completely messed up because it's relying on stuff that happens on the missing frames, which it's never going to know. But it's just neat to watch it choke. Whatever. I'm just being stupid. Thanks for being there with me. As you can see, I said it again. So there's one screen refresh between frames and the Super CPU is off and it can now do it, but it's a disaster. And then when I try to break out of the program, well, things really get screwed up and it gets stuck in a permanent loop.
May? Yeah? You're pretty busy looking this way and that 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 this way.
Oh,
this way and that this way.
That is so annoying. But it's cool because it's waiting for a certain trigger to happen now and it isn't going to happen because, yeah, it's just too many interrupts. It's not giving it a chance. Pretty cool, though. Oh, this grass looks kind of mesmerizing, doesn't it? Okay, I got to stop screwing around. Hey, look at the bottom there. It's a leap day, and the BackBit knows it. Cool. This time it's only doing 0, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, and 7 are being ignored. That's why the video is playing it, or trying to play it twice the speed. Of course, to play only 0, 1, 2, 3, I still have to queue up the 4 to 7s and just ignore them. So it's it's doing more fetches than it needs to just to get to the data I want because everything's done by rollout. But then again, I could probably, I could advance the reader pointer beyond, but I'm just screwing around, so it ain't worth tinkering longer with. As it is, I was supposed to get back to work, right? And I'm just being stupid again. I'm thinking of, first of all, look at the quality when it shows both of the creatures, especially Gabu's ears. That was the 1 character set version. Now we'll take a look at the 2. Now you're going to notice a difference in quality here because we're going from 256 characters to 430. Look at the ears. And everything, it's better, right? Now if I go to full-blown 2 character sets, that's 512, but then the 40 in the middle are duplicated so they don't count twice. So that's 472. So 430 becomes 472. It basically goes up 10% more characters. And that means the image is going to improve. But to do that, each rollout BBT fetch It only brings in 3 frames, but it allows me to have a larger audio buffer, which means the audio fetch happens less often, unless I use a better bit rate. But then that also saves me time because it's slowing down the video fetches for some reason, as we've just seen. So the way things are now, it might be a gain that's free, because otherwise you know what I mean? Maybe it's not free, but if I can get the color to work well with the 8 frame version, like the 8 buffer version, I might be able to drop this down to 6 and try again. But at the moment, while I do have color ideas, and I really got to implement something, because I got to fix it the way it sits before I move on to possibly increasing the appearance, like increasing the amount of characters again. But it's such an exciting development. But yes, okay, I promise. The next video you see is going to be me with my new color packer thing. All right, promise. This is just the 2 character set version without the audio. So as you can see, there's a raster color change, and at times this will flicker white. You see that? Because that's when the color update is taking longer than expected. It should have been done before the next split begins there. And that's a problem for more reasons than one. One of which is, oh, watch the berries, that's bad. Come on. There, that's a goodie. But when it comes down to here, when the white comes down to here, right, and it leaves, it was already supposed to have triggered this interrupt, and it hasn't. So then it happens. The split to change the character sets happens down here when it should have happened up here. So sometimes that's why you get a little surge of yellow or some color that shouldn't have been, because characters are not what they're supposed to be. It's a lot of fun. I mean, there's going to be some flaws that sneak through, but luckily each display is very similar to the last, so it seldom shows. But I wonder, because I have seen little blits of where the screen is kind of corrupted down here anyway, and I bet you that's the reason why. I don't know if I can solve that problem, but it's neat to see this, because the fact that we're getting those white flashes tells me that the color is being overwhelmed. This is without the audio. You include the audio, those flashes are going to be happening even more often. But if I can get this to play without ever flickering down here, that's all I need. That's really all I need. I don't have to, bring in my little boob examiners and all the timing fun. It's nice to get some data, but basically, if I can get this to play without it ever flashing white in that area, the problem is solved, with the audio going as well, at which point I can go on to the 2 character set version. But like I promised, by the time you see this video, I've already solved that problem. But this is part of what I did to solve it. Oh, yeah, let's look at the 2 character set version with the audio now, and we'll see how often this screws up. A lot more visible corruption as well. Ooh, the berries knocked it down to here. I was getting black way down there. Cool. Let's see the part where she's chasing him.
What are you doing?
I'm going to eat you, gobble the goat.
What?
Growl.
Here we are working on the 2 character set version. Each character set is 256 characters this time, because I'm going to try something a little more daring, a little more. I think I can get this to work. Now, I did promise that I'd have this color problem solved, And while I guess I don't, it's a broken promise. I am very sorry about that. But this will hopefully lead to the solution at the same time. Now, there are the reason why I can't just dash out the solution and solve the color problem. There's three things that are happening. The first one, I have an easy fix for. I'll show you the screenshot I made. You see how the bottom half, it's yellowy for a while and it's all corrupted, right? That's because the color unpacking is taking too long, sort of. What it's doing is it's delaying the interrupt in the middle of the screen. So that interrupt does not occur until it completes the color unpack, at which point the second interrupt is now triggered immediately and it goes back in and splits, or does the split, and that's why the character set, that yellow bit, is actually the wrong information, like the right video matrix, but the wrong character set. So the simple fix there, because I do acknowledge the thing early, which doesn't really make a difference in this case, because one interrupt is not, well, yeah, no, it does. It does make a difference, because otherwise it wouldn't have done that middle interrupt after the fact. So it's good because it cues it up. It goes, hey, when you're done, let me go back in. So that's good. But the fix, the temporary fix, the good fix, the simple fix, put a CLI in there. Allow the raster interrupt in the center of the screen to interrupt the color setting one that began at the bottom of the screen the frame previous. Does that make sense? Because once it's done that interrupted, whatever, you know what I mean, it goes back and finishes the color. Now, the only way that this would become a disaster is if it interrupted the color writing for another color writing. And that would mean it would have to be busy for over 2 complete frames. And that will not happen. So we're safe there. Even if it makes it down to the bottom of the screen again, it won't be a problem, because it's more or less just incrementing a timer and switching the character set one more time. Okay, so that was a big explanation. Second problem, the fact that it's not just the fact that the color gets interrupted by the interrupt while it's being, put into place with the rollout code, because at the same time, that rollout code is putting in the character set and stuff. So what you see, because the color RAM, the packed color, is more, I don't know how to say it, but when it's neither here nor there and the interrupt happens, it sets those color RAM values, whatever they are, and they stay that way until something else changes them. However, at the same time, the video matrix and the character set may not be complete as well. They were switched to that data, and they still might be wrong. So you're going to get some graphical glitch, even though it's not color related. But as soon as that interrupt is finished, the rollout continues and quickly patches the flaws in the graphic data. So on the next frame, it's looking clean again. Big deal. But seeing a twitch of anything wrong is bad. Okay? So that's the second problem. And that relates to the color thing, because it's all the fact that the watchdog is caught by the interrupt. The watchdog is supposed to be chasing the interrupt, not the other way around. And to solve that problem, this is what I'm thinking of now, which is why I'm allowing this 2-character set version with 256 characters in each to go through anyway. I'm going to come up with a means to compare one buffer's character set to the character set in the frame previous, find out which bytes are different, and make the rollout only write those. Now, of course, that is not very efficient. I've already done some tests in the past, and I might be showing some results on the screen here, maybe not. But who's to say that it has to be a one-to-one, overlay? I can take each character in one character set and match it with every character in the previous frame's character set, not the previous frame, the previous buffer. So it's going to be, 6 or 8 frames ago. But if it works in one spot, like, how do you explain this? Suppose character 6 in one frame has a certain pattern, like, 13, 189, 00, whatever. And then character 6 frames later, has a completely different pattern. But maybe character 22 is very close to what character 6 was. Simple solution, move it. Take character 22 and put it in character 6 spot. And then you have to adjust the video matrix to compensate. Doesn't matter, it's just numbers. So you run a little algorithm, like you can compare it for fun and see, what your score is. And after you think about it, see how many matches you can get that up to, like how few. The more matches, the more savings, the faster the rollout. And that will allow the watchdog to stay ahead of the interrupt. And as long as that happens, you will not get the color glitch, you will not get the graphical glitch. And the color glitching, well, or the center of the screen nonsense, that is fixed by the CLI. So everything should work rather well, as long as the color unpack stays ahead of the raster. That's also important. So, as you can see, there's a lot going on in my mind here, and I hope you were able to understand her. I hope I wasn't rambling. I bet you I was. I'm sorry. So I kind of like, where we left off here. I now have the possibility of getting 256 characters in each character set and having larger audio buffers. And all I got to do to pay for it is rearrange the data in every character set and video matrix in my entire project. Is that something I can pull off? I don't know. Is it something I'm going to pull off in the next episode? I know for a fact the answer to that is no, because next time I try to set a different record. How many times in one episode can I screw up big time? I think it's like 2 or 3. Yeah, I'm blundering it bad. Next time on BackBit Impawsible.